I'm not a medical person, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a biologist, so if I make a mistake here, somebody correct me, but I would really like to talk about something that could cause you a lot of problems. And I've been reading a little bit and would like to just quickly address the risk of having a disaster on your hands if you end up with an impacted bowel. It's not a pretty topic. It's not a delicate topic, but I'm going to kick my shoe off here and talk about it for just a minute. Um, there's two types of fiber that we can have in our diet, and a good place to go read is colacecapsules.com, COLACE capsules.com, and they have several different links that you can click on that are pretty informative. Colace is not an inexpensive product, but it's an awesome chemical in my book. We don't want to get too personal here, so we won't get too personal here. But the two types of fiber are water soluble and water insoluble, and basically they're both necessary and they're both important for proper function. But the insoluble fiber, basically, if I understand it correctly, it it's it's contained in bran and in other. They have a whole list of the foods on there. That's why I thought it would be a good place to go. It's contained in bran, which is the outer portion of a grain of wheat and other grains. It's contained in lots of other foods besides that, but the one that's mostly discussed is in bran, basically the outside layer of a grain. And it will travel through the digestive tract until it gets to the end. And in the process thereof, if you're drinking enough fluids, which you need, not just the fiber, but you need the fluids. If you up your intake of fiber and if you don't have proper fluids, you can end up with a whole new problem. It's not a good thing to do. So read the different types of fiber, but focus on insoluble fibers, and that will travel through your digestive system and will end up mixed in with your other components of the stool, better known as poop by most people. Feces, lots of different names for it. Poop is the most common, I think, but will end up in your stool and your poop, and it causes it to be softer because it absorbs moisture, and then it can be more easily passed. What happens a lot of times with an impacted bowel or impacted colon is that it can be caused by medications that you're on. It can be caused by the way that you're eating and things. The food's not just the foods you are eating, but the foods you're not eating. So if you're not getting enough fruits, vegetables, whole grains, uh, and other things that have insoluble fiber in them, you could end up with stool that is rock hard and dry. And to be very graphic, it can be so large that it's impossible to pass. It can be large, large. It could be the size of a baseball or larger and impossible to pass. And there's no sense trying to force it to come out, because once it's rock hard and is too large, you're pretty well in between a rock and a hard place. Now, this is where I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm already sticking my neck out by addressing this topic to start with. So if you love me, you love me. If you hate me, you hate me. It's okay. Either way is fine. And you can disagree with me and you can make a reply to this. It's totally fine. If you read the package of enemas, the package warnings on enema, they can be pretty frightening. And I talked to an old country doctor one time when I had a problem, which I said this was a little too personal. I had quite a problem. And I talked, my regular doctor was not on duty, but he had, I call him an old country doctor. He's an older gentleman, sweet man. Then he told me to get stool softener, which was Colace. I would pay any amount of money for the name brand. I would never buy a store brand of this stuff because it may save you. I know it's probably supposed to be the same thing, but I figure it was going to save me a trip to the emergency room on the weekend, then it was going to be worth the $13, $15, whatever it costs, was going to be totally worth it. And but anyway, I didn't know that it could affect. This is where I'm sticking my neck out. So make sure you get competent medical advice and don't listen to me. But I didn't know that the colace could affect the stool that was already down that far down the digestive tract, that it was stuck and causing a problem. I'm really sticking my neck out here. But I was assured to talk to the pharmacist and see what he recommended, and I decided I was going to go with a name brand no matter what. But apparently it can soften. Um, apparently it can soften what's in there. So there's lots of things that are mentioned. You can read on the internet. I don't agree with some of them. I I don't think that you should use an enema. I don't think a laxative is the best thing to do. This is just my personal opinion. Don't sue me. Don't, you can disagree with me. Do talk to your doctor. I would not use an enema. I would not use a laxative. I would not go to the emergency room or my doctor first and have them physically try to pull this stuff out of you. They basically have, what I read on the internet, they're basically recommending that you go in and take it out. Well, I'm I'm sorry, but that could cause so much problems. If you could get the desired results by using a stool softener, I don't know why you would want to go another route. There's just so many risks involved with all that. So that's just my personal opinion, but it's been on my mind today, and I thought maybe for a reason, maybe there's somebody out there who's got a problem and, needs some practical, I'm not giving advice, practical information, how's that? But I just think this colace is awesome stuff. I do have a problem with a medication. I have to be really careful and keep an eye on things, which is nothing you wanted to hear, I'm sure. I'm going to talk about another facet of this topic in another video if I can manage to remember that, because this is over 7 minutes now, and I like to keep them between 2 and 3 or 4 minutes. I don't like 7-minute videos. So, having said that, if this saves anybody grief or the embarrassment of having to talk to the pharmacist, or the embarrassment of having to call your doctor on the weekend, or the expense of having to make an emergency room trip when you've got a deductible that's this high, we have a huge deductible on our insurance, then I would not give you advice, but if it was me, I would pay the whole price to get the name brand bottle of stuff, take the maximum dose. If it says you can, I don't know if it says you can take it on the second day. It might take a day or 2 or 3 to finally do the job. Oh dear, that's a little too graphic. So having said that, I guess we're really good friends now to be able to discuss such delicate topics, but I just was hoping that it might do somebody some good. Therefore, I have laid all my dignity on the line. It's gone. But we all have problems from time to time, and I just thought I would read on the internet to see what's out there, but some of what they recommend I think is very foolhardy, and this older doctor fella was awesome. Just thought he was an awesome individual. So now we are 8 minutes and 40 seconds. So I am ending this video, to be continued. If you don't want to address this topic again, there's going to be another one in the next few days sometime. You don't want to read that one, don't read that one either, because it's going to be slightly more graphic than this one. Okay, have a great night. Bye.